So, today I wanted to talk about Selena Gomez's second LP that she released, on her own. Because she does consider Revival as like her first real album, so I'm going to consider Rare as her second full album because it just makes sense. But today we're going to be talking about Rare. I was actually just recently listening to this album, and I had no idea that there was like a deluxe edition made for it. And since I never made like a video for like this is like two birds, one stone. Perfect. This is definitely one of my favorite albums of this year. Like, I really enjoy listening to the original take of this album, and the fact that there's like some additions. So we're gonna get into the additions of the album. Then we're gonna get into like the album as a whole, since the songs we just added. So let's get into the songs: Boyfriend, Souvenir, She, and Feel Me. So when I was recently on YouTube, I wanted to see since she came out with a deluxe edition of the album, what song did she push? And I'm kind of disappointed that she chose Boyfriend. Boyfriend's a pretty good song. It's a bop. It just kind of felt a little incomplete at times. Felt like the beat could have been, they could have added something to it. It just felt like I was listening to a demo or something. But it's a good song overall. I would give it a 6 out of 10. But it just felt like there could have been more. It was just lacking just sound-wise, as far as the beat or whatever. There could have been some more harmonizing, a tambourine or something. But when I was initially hearing the album or whatnot, when I first heard Boyfriend, I was like, okay, this is a really good song. This is a really good way to open up the album again. It's funny because the first song is I want a boyfriend, and then the second song is Lose You to Love Me, which is kind of hilarious because it's I want a boyfriend. And then she talks about, then it's the super depressed song, I had to give you up to love myself, which is kind of funny. But yeah, I liked Boyfriend when I initially heard it. I thought it was a solid song. It just felt like it just needed more. As I was listening to it, it was like this has potential and it just needs to do more. So I was kind of let down about. Now listening to the album, I encountered She, and She should have been the single. That song, even when it first started to la 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 la, that should have been the single. It's such a good song, and it really helps with the album. It fits this album like a glove. It's a song. This song is it's the new and improved Selena, and she's looking at her past self, seeing her self-doubt herself and seeing how hard she was on herself, and realizing that nothing was wrong with her all along. She was just not this naive, pure soul in this evil, corrupt world. She talks about how she was better than the dudes that she was dealing with. She says tequila before sunrise. The guys that she was dealing with was just drinking, and she was you're better than all of this. You were trying to live up to people who just you were better than. And I really, really like this song. It's such a good song. It reminds me of Dua Lipa's Don't Start Now, kind of. Ooh. Well, Don't Start Now is kind of a guy coming back into your life. But as far as the vibes of you being better off, you're this new and improved version of yourself, that's where I'm getting at. She's a bop. She should have been pushed. It's so frustrating. When I was hearing the song, I was as soon as it came on, as soon as I heard it do, I was yes, this song should have been it. I don't know why it wasn't pushed, but it's so good. But yeah, along with the song, she talks about all the pain she went through, the past Selena, because the song is the perspective. It's the future Selena, the new and improved, self-love Selena, looking back at her old self. And she talks about how her old self, she was her intentions were good. Oh my God, how does the chorus go? It's oh my God, that's frustrating. But the chorus is really good. I definitely recommend you listening to this song. It's amazing. It's She, and it's definitely one of the best additions to this album. It just ties everything together, because the beginning of the album has really good storytelling. It's it's Lose You to Love Me, a really, really sad individual, having to give up someone that she really, really loves because the person is kind of destroying her, and she has to go back to prioritizing herself and loving herself so that she can love someone else again. And then it talks about Rare, and how she's a rare commodity and she's special. And then it all kind of just comes together. Well, I'm forgetting look at her now and whatnot, but this is Look at Her Now 2.0. Not only is she talking about how she's better off, but she's reflecting and reminiscing. She was good all along. She didn't really need to change anything about herself, just the perspective in her mind. And then the song just goes along and just she's telling her past self that you got it, and and like, you know, you have yourself and that's all you need. It's kind of like that kind of anthem, and I just really enjoy that song. That song was definitely on repeat. I kind of listened to that a couple of times and then go on with like the rest of the album. And then I kind of skipped over Souvenir. Souvenir wasn't a bad song. It just didn't fit where it was put. I feel like if it was put later into the album, it would have been bad. It wasn't a bad song, but it wasn't like, it didn't wow me or anything. I would have given it like a 5 out of 10. She was definitely like a 8, 9 out of 10. Like, I like that song a lot. But Souvenir just, I feel like it didn't belong on the album. The song, I thought it was going to be about like reminiscing about like her lover and what they like went through or whatever. I thought it was going to be like a love song, you know, like a souvenir or something that like, it's like an item or something that you have as a reminder of, you know, where you were or what you had. I thought that's what it was going to be about, but it was just about like Souvenir was just used as an analogy for like her breath or something. It really didn't belong in this part of the album or just the album at all. Just another filler. I just wasn't wowed about it at all. And then the last addition to Rare Deluxe Edition was Feel Me. And I actually really, really enjoyed Feel Me. Feel Me definitely had like the lyrics and the substance that I was looking forward to. It's kind of dark because like Feel Me is about, you know, she's better off on her own. You know, she's better than ever. And then her past lover kind of comes back. And then she's like, you know, not only does she like turn him down, but then she's like, you know, now when you look at a girl, I want you to feel me when you're sleeping next to somebody or when you're dancing with somebody or like when you're around somebody. I want you to keep feeling me. Like I'm always going to be on your mind. I want to stay on your mind because since I said no to you, now you realize you passed, you know, like the best thing in your life up. Now you're going to be dwelling on this for like the rest of your life. And it's like, damn, Selena, that's very dark. Like a no would have sufficed. Damn. It was kind of dark, but it was kind of funny at the same time. It was a bop. I would give it a 7. I feel like Boyfriend had the potential to definitely be much better than what it was, but it wasn't there. I would put Feel Me over Boyfriend, simply because Feel Me had like the lyrical, because like, you know, there's a lot more substance in Feel Me. She gets into detail with the verses and stuff. Versus Boyfriend was made to be like a, you know, like a little like cute sounding like a little bop. But the order for these new songs, from best to least favorite, it would definitely be She, Feel Me, Boyfriend, then Souvenir. But 3 out of 4, I liked all of them. Like, I liked all of the songs. They weren't bad. Souvenir was a filler. Boyfriend was almost there. She was everything. Feel Me was, yeah, it was there. But now getting into the album Rare, which is one of my, again, I think I've said this already, but like it's definitely one of my favorite albums of the year. It's one of like the first albums that came out this year. It came out January 10th. And I was really looking forward to like this Selena Gomez album because Selena Gomez has really been struggling to like kind of like find her sound. Like early in her career with like those older songs, it's kind of like she was still Disney-esque and whatever. Like she kind of didn't own her sound fully. And then she had her phase where she was kind of like handed like, it wasn't like she could be Selena. It was like she had to be like these other artists. They were giving her like these Rihanna reject songs. And then it was that whole EDM phase. It was kind of like this big struggle with her sounds. Just her finding who she is. And it just felt like she just didn't really have a lot of control. And then when Revival happened, I remember in that interview she said that, you know, Revival felt like her first true album. You know, like there was no the scene band. There was nothing over her head. Like, you have to be like this. You have to sound like this. You have to look like this. You have to sound like this. It was finally her. But then she also said that she felt like she had to, you know, with her being a female artist, she felt like she had to be like over-sexualized. And she had to, you know, still be like this sexy-ass girl that she just wasn't. But Rare was like her first album where like, she has total control of her image. She knew what she wanted to do. She said that she isolated herself from everything as well. Like, she was off social media. She was very much to herself. Kind of like how Taylor Swift made Folklore, which is interesting to think about. But she said, like, you know, she just cut everything off. She was going through a tough time. She just toned out everything and came out with Rare. And this is definitely like her sound. She was definitely like in her own head with this album. Like, she wasn't trying to be anybody. You can't hear any other artist in this but Selena Gomez. Like, this is her story, what she went through and what she's overcoming, and it's just really nice to see. I'm so happy that she found her own sound. Well, I feel like she's always had her own sound, like that whispering sound with like a note here and there. But like lyrically and as far as the substance in this album, she's definitely found her own lane, and it's an amazing lane. It's so special to her, and it's kind of like, you know, she's really good friends with Taylor Swift, and this kind of reminds me of Taylor Swift as well. And I can't wait to see like what she's going to do in the future. I'm just really upset with her that Selena, she should have been a single. She deserved a video, it deserved some interviews, it deserved a performance. She should have been pushed. I guarantee you, she would have been bigger than Boyfriend. They fumbled the bag on that one. That's very unfortunate. She could have had like the best music video ever. Like it could have been like Havana themed, kind of, you know, like a girl. She's out in the club with her friends and she's partying. And, you know, she's kind of like looking back. Oh, and there's like this big catwalk in like the middle of like this club, this Latin bar, and guys are like staring at her and like admiring her, and she's like all in her like her own head. She's all in her own power, and she's like reminiscing about the days where she was sad and like, you know, feeling insecure. But like now she's like looking at herself now, like, you know, she's like singing the lyrics or whatever, like, you know, I used to whatever the lyrics were. You know, like the song was about, you know, her looking back and realizing like she was just too hard on herself. You know, she's coming to her power and guys are admiring her. She just looks good. Like, she should have been a single. Oh my god, I'm so mad about that. But anyways, enough about like the songs. Let's get into the album. Rare as an album was just very, very good. Like, this was definitely like the original title. This set the tone for like the entire year. I don't care what anyone says. Like, this was like the first album of this year, and it talked about like self-growth and self-love and coming to your own power. Like songs like Lose You to Love Me, and what else was it? It was Lose You to Love Me, and it was Rare. Just talking about like how you just being one of a kind and having to abandon the person that you love the most because you have to love yourself. Like, ooh, that's deep. Lose You to Love You it's definitely like a bop. And then, and we cannot forget about Look at Her Now. When I first heard Look at Her Now, I think I liked Lose You to Love Me so much. Look at Her Now kind of just got overshadowed by it. I wish that she was made around that time. She would have been like, that's like the perfect follow-up to Lose You to Love Me. Like, I would have like, she's a bop. I can't even get over like how much I love she. But Look at Her Now, it was good then. It didn't really age well for me personally. I think that there's a lot of other really good songs on this album, but I understand why it was released. Look at Her Now is definitely like the perfect follow-up to like Lose You to Love You. Lose You to Love You is like, you know, you being sad and, you know, I have to give you up. I don't want to, but I have to for me. And then Look at Her Now is like, damn, like, I mean, that was the best decision I ever made in my life. Like, look at me now. Like, I can only find love if I want it. I'm in my power. Like, it's a good anthem. Just musically, like, as far as like melody wise and musically wise and like stuff that's like aesthetically pleasing to the ear, I feel like there were other songs on this album that was just a little better. But Look at Her Now was definitely like the best match for, you know, some like Lose You to Love Me. But just the storytelling that this album just gives you, like the album just started off with Rare, you know, you talking about like how you just feel underappreciated, and you kind of, you know, telling your lover that, you know, like, you're rare, you're one of a kind, and how like the lover that she was with around that time just wasn't acknowledging her, and she's just saying like, you know, she's one of a million, and, you know, you need to recognize me. And then just transitioning to Lose You to Love Me. I don't know the exact order of Rare, but it really annoyed my one issue with like the original like Rare album was just the order of the songs. It just kind of really threw me off. I know that they fixed it in the deluxe, which I'm so happy about, but the order of the songs just really threw me off. I think Look at Her Now came before Lose You to Love Me, which made 0 sense. I mean, it's like Look at Her Now is literally made to be after Lose You to Love Me. Like, Look at Her Now is, you know, like you being happy and positive and saying that you know, like, you kind of like dodged a bullet. Like, you started to love yourself, and now look at you now. And then Lose You to Love You comes on, it just didn't make any sense. And then Dance Again comes after Lose You to Love Me, but Dance Again is about, you know, being able to dance again. You're being happy after, you know, you leaving this guy who didn't appreciate you. And then 2 songs later, you're talking about losing him and how you replaced 2 months ago. Like, what? That doesn't make sense. That annoyed me, but I think that in the deluxe edition, everything was changed. Yeah, let me look right now. Yeah, see, things were changed up. See, now it's Lose You to Love Me, Rare. That's exactly how it should have been. Let me think. Because Lose You to Love Me, it should have been Rare, then Lose You to Love Me. Because Rare is about, like, this guy talk, like, you're upstairs, waiting for him to come to bed. He's acting like you're not there, and he's just unappreciating you. So then he acting up, then you lose him to love yourself. Not lose you to love himself, then you talking about, no. Anyway, yeah. But that order was definitely throwing me off. But other than that, it seemed like the order was fixed in this album. There's just so many amazing bops. Like, the beginning of the album just talks about, finding yourself and loving yourself. And then, I just like that she just fits this album so... I keep coming back to she, but she's a really good song. And then after she talks about Dance Again, which was moved further down, which I like, because it's like the second half of the album just talks about, how she's benefiting from, like, cutting somebody off. There's a song called Cut You Off, which should have been moved towards the top of the album. It should have been moved towards the beginning of the album, because Cut You Off just talks about, why she did cut you off. She started to, like, her loving you, she started, hating stuff about herself, and, like, she was confusing stuff for love. She was confusing, like, abandoning her priorities and, like not loving herself, and being lied to, and just not trusting her own intuition for a guy she loves. Like, Cut You Off should have been moved up, because it just goes more into detail about why she had to, let this guy go and love herself. But other than that, the first half of the album is about, like, being sad and just feeling down and having to make the sacrifice for the greater good. And then towards the end of the album, the second half of the album just talks about reaping the benefits to letting this baggage go. And it's just beautiful, like, with songs like Dance Again and Let Me Get Me. Let Me Get Me should have also been moved up in the album as well, because Let Me Get Me was an amazing song, and it just talks about how, there's this big misconception about, like, getting over somebody. Like, you just wake up one day and it's just like, ooh, like, I'm better. Like, no. You're gonna feel bad sometimes. You're gonna feel down sometimes. You're just not gonna be happy all the time. You're gonna reminisce and miss that person. But Let Me Get Me is about, like, I'm not gonna let myself get down. Like, he's out of my life now. The only obstacle I have to deal with now is myself. And that song talks about, like, not allowing myself to let you're your only obstacle now. So it talks about, like, not letting yourself get yourself down. And like, he even says, take that tired heart and go turn it inside out. Oh, like, it's a really cute song, and the sounds that it just uses, it's a really good song. But, and then the second half, I keep trying to get to, like, the part where, you're, like, reaping, like, what you sow. Like, you let go of this baggage, now you're better off. But, like, each song is kind of like, that could have been moved up here. That could have been moved up here. But, again, like, my one issue was just how the album is just ordered. I feel like this album altogether tells an amazing story, but, like, the songs are kind of, they're kind of just in, like, funny order. It's just like, that could have been moved over here. Like, the beginning of that album should have explained, reaping what you sow, and, you just being sad. And, it's like, damn, I let him go. I don't want to let him go, but it's, you kind of go into detail about why you have to let him go, and how good it's going to, like, pay off, and, how you're going to be a better and stronger person. And then the second half of the album is supposed to be like, I am a better person now, and, wow. Like, I was right all along. I feel like songs like Cut You Off and People You Know and Dance Again. No, not Dance Again, but Vulnerable, People You Know, Cut You Off, Let Me Get Me should have been moved further up into the album. And then you have songs, cause those songs are about, going into detail about, people talks about people that, like, you knew the most can become people that you don't know at all. And then Let Me Get Me, I'll explain that and all. But then songs like Ring, Dance Again, A Sweeter Place, Feel Me, those songs should definitely be towards the end, because that's about, you know, like you glowing up by yourself. You're in your own power, and men are starting to see that now. Like Ring is all about, like, you know, men flocking to you because you've been focused on yourself. You have like this self-love glow. You're loving yourself. You're in your own head. You're in your own bag, and men are just flocking to you, like, you know. You're just letting it ring. You don't need no one. You don't need no man's validation anymore. You don't even want to be in no nigga's face no more, because you love yourself so much. You know, and you just got out of all that crap. You don't want no man in your face right now. You just got over, you know, that toxic relationship. Now you're just in your own head. Like songs like that. And then you have Dance Again. You know, like, it feels so good to dance again. Because you at one point, you never thought that you could be this happy. But now you're going out and, you know, you're reaping everything that people were telling you, like, you know, it's going to get better. It finally is. And it's just good. But this album is just really good. Just Order, just really funny. But like, this album tells a really, really, really good story. It sets the tone of the year of like this self-love, just material. My favorite songs from this album is, you know, Lose You to Love Me, People You Know, Ring, Let Me Get Me, Boyfriend, and She. Like, those songs are just amazing. There's just so many self-love anthems on this album. The lyrics, the lyrical content, the storytelling, the character development, just the lyrical substance. Like, you're watching and you're hearing somebody like this sad individual that just didn't think that they're gonna make it. Now, not only did they abandon this guy, but they're like smarter, they're stronger, they're just better than ever. And now you're just reaping everything that you sowed, and perfection was sowed, and now you're just living in your own power. It's amazing to just hear and see, especially like for me personally. Like at the start of this year, I was definitely going through like some phases, and just to hear this, like, it gets better from an artist like Selena Gomez, it's like, wow, like, this is amazing. Yeah, I would definitely give this album an 8.5 or a 9. This is an amazing album. I can't believe it took me this long to actually give it a proper review, but I did it justice. You know, please like, subscribe for more music reviews and music discussions. I am Yikes Roman, and I am out.